Hi, I'm Javan Lockhart, marriage, individual, and family therapist at Healing Hearts of Indy. And this week's video is on what you don't know can hurt you. Oftentimes, couples, siblings, family members, and loved ones argue about simple things like where to go have dinner, who's going to do the dishes, who's going to do laundry, or what time to meet. And sometimes these small details can blow up or feel hurtful. And it's hard to explain, well, what was that about? That's because what is not being spoken is what is causing some pain and distress. That's why it's important to know and understand that what hurts you might not be as obvious and apparent. Basically, I'm saying that what sunk the Titanic, a well-engineered and beautifully designed ship, it wasn't the glacier that they could see, even with all their training and skills, but it was the smaller underwater glaciers in deeper water that really sunk the ship and cost several lives. And in therapy, that's what we're talking about today. Oftentimes, couples miss and can't connect to what the main core issues are. Whether it's communication, whether it's parenting, or financial issues, the more shallow or not deep waters can often seem like the major problems. Even if we're talking about serious issues like affairs or addiction, betrayal, lack of trust, those events are meant to trigger deeper issues within the marriage and within families. And if we can go deeper, then we can find out what the main source is and what truthfully the most powerful source is, rather than staying above water or in shallow waters, because often couples keep bringing up the same topic or event, and events can actually feel like the very true, real issue of a problem. For example, a spouse may say, well, if so-and-so just continues doing this, I'm going to have to leave. Or I don't know what I'm going to do if they continue the same behavior. Well, while the behavior or the event is triggering discomfort and pain for the other person, how that person responds and reacts and what that brings up in them is really in deeper waters, or deeper in their psyche, and really needs to come to the surface, because this is the truth that will help to set them free from the pain that they're experiencing. Although the external event, such as a betrayal, or something as small as having someone who constantly does not make decisions for themselves, or somebody who's controlling, those events are not as important as how you respond to those events that are occurring. So for example, if I have a wife who is very passive and tends to not really speak up and then blows up like a pressure cooker after a long time of being silent, then we're not really addressing the issue that's really hurting her. We're only addressing something on the outside, which is an event or a behavior from another third party. The major issues are down below in deep water, where feelings and emotions exist. And that truth is the most important thing for your spouse to know and understand, or your child, or your significant other, depending on the appropriateness and the level of maturity that you're talking to. It really matters whether or not, when you're having arguments or conflict, if you can go into those deeper waters and understand for yourself and then explain and expand on that. To assume that somebody should know or understand what is going on deeply within you is not healthy, and it's not a great way or an empowering way to express your pain. It isn't obvious, as most people would expect, that someone might feel hurt by something because it doesn't hurt your spouse. So the deeper waters, or the glacier that took down the Titanic, is really what I'm talking about. And if people and families and spouses can get to those core issues about how they feel about an event or a triggering behavior in their life that they're experiencing from the outside, that would help them to convey their needs and their pain and their hurt to their significant other or their partner. Many times, coming to resolution about those deeper issues or that deeper pain can be much, much more fulfilling than simply changing a behavior on the outside. So let's say you come to some logical solution about a schedule on when to do dishes, or who does outside hard work, or who does indoor domestic work. Really, it's not about coming up with just those logistical issues as resolutions, because those resolutions will not cure long-term emotional needs. They will continue to fester and move on into resentment and anger and hurt, and that's why we look at deeper issues. Trying to manage what's in shallow water will tend to come across as more controlling, will create more anxiety between people, and normally has a loser on the other side of it. And if it has to be a win-lose situation and doesn't feel like a cooperative compromise between two people, then one of you is going to eventually feel let down and hurt. And you might even be wondering how you ended up in that position in the first place. Because truly that event or that issue is not really what's causing the pain and the discomfort. There are many things that we do in therapy, exercises in the office, that do help people come back to their core self and talk about, whether we use Imago, workbooks, group counseling, motivational interviewing, whatever that may be. Those insights and epiphanies happen during those moments. And then clients can see another way of being able to communicate outside of the ways that they've always known. And they also don't have to hide in those shallow waters behind the event of not being able to decide what to have for dinner, or where to go for a holiday, or how to manage finances, or even how to address those serious issues like affairs and addictions or any type of betrayal. If you would like to learn more or change how your communication or your relationship, or whether or not your relationship tends to stay in shallow waters and you feel unresolved and want to make an appointment, you can reach me at 317-224-3211. You can also reach me via email, Javan, that's Javan, at healingheartsofindy.com. I hope this video was helpful for you. If you feel like it might be something that a friend might need to hear, please feel free to share it and pass on our information. Thank you for watching.